What's up and welcome to FPL Today. I'm your host JNO and welcome to the channel and welcome to another player analysis where we look at new transfers in during the summer transfer window and try and evaluate how important they will be to our Fantasy Premier League seasons. But before we get into the video, on this channel we do loads of FPL content around players, teams and trying to get you the highest rank possible in the Fantasy Premier League. So if that interests you, consider subscribing and let's get on with the show. So, Davy Klaassen is another new Everton signing, another big spend by Everton, who seem to be splashing the cash around a little bit with a £23.6 million spend on Davy Klaassen, a player from Ajax who has a lot of potential ability, could be another Christian Eriksen, but we all know plenty of people from the Dutch league, Kesman for Chelsea being one that jumps to mind, can be very, very disappointing. However, with Ross Barkley apparently not signing a new contract and potentially moving away from Everton, this is definitely a position midfield that they needed to look at filling someone in with. However, they're also looking at Gylfi Sigurdsson, so that's a little asterisk on this player analysis of Davy Klaassen, because if they get Sigurdsson, Klaassen may not be as vital or important to that Everton side. So what we do here is we first look at the strengths, weaknesses and style of play of Davy Klaassen before looking at his stats over the previous couple of seasons. And going into his strengths are finishing, through balls, key passes and concentration. All very good strengths for a midfielder. Speaking of which, midfield wise, he's actually outperformed for Ajax, Morales and Barkley from Everton, so potentially he could be a great signing, but of course players always need time to adapt to the Premier League. His weakness is defensive contribution. However, if he's going to be playing further up the field, maybe behind the striker, we don't really need to be considering that as something he needs in his game. His style of play, he likes to lay the ball off and likes to do short passes. In the 2016-2017 season for Ajax, he had 33 appearances, getting 4 goals and 9 assists. That outperforms both Ross Barkley and Kevin Morales. Those are the two best Everton midfielders from last season, so bringing someone in that outperformed them in goals and assists is always a plus for us Fantasy Premier League managers. He had 1.8 shots per game and 1.8 key passes a game, only getting one man of the match, so he does seem to do his job quietly, but he pops up with the goals and the assists, and his average rating was 7.35. I mean, you can never go wrong with a player that is almost a double-double player, which I've been going on and on about this season, but you want midfielders that can get goals and assists. If you can be involved in around 20 plus goals a season as a midfielder, you're probably going to be a good buy, unless maybe you're the Alexis Sanchez price level where you might want a little bit more. In the 2015-2016 season, he had 30 appearances and managed to get 13 goals and 8 assists, showing that it isn't a fluke that he managed to do that the season just before the one he signed for Everton in. 13 goals, 8 assists, it's only 1 goal and 1 assist less than he got in the 2016-2017 season. His shots per game was down at 1.5, but his key passes remained at around the 1.8 area. Another season with only 1 man in the match award, and average rating was at 7.35 again, so that shows an incredible level of consistency. If he can come with either of those season stats into the Premier League or even something close, if his price is around 8 million, maybe a little lower, then he's going to be a good signing, but maybe not at the beginning of the season because we all know how tough Everton's fixtures are right off the bat. And then in the 2014-2015 season, he had 30 appearances, and this is the season that is a little lower compared to the previous 2 seasons because he only got 6 goals. He did get 9 assists, however, matching his 2016-2017 season. His shots per game and key passes went down to 1.4 in both categories. However, he got 2 man of the match awards, so a slight improvement there, and he got a 7.47 average rating. So he actually had a season where he performed better according to how he performed in each individual match, but didn't get the goals and assists. Hopefully that won't be the case when he joins the Premier League. So the way I see it is Davy Klaassen has to be someone on your watch list, your short list. You have to be keeping an eye on him because he could be a very big impact player in the Premier League this season and in the Fantasy Premier League. The way to get your ranking up in Fantasy Premier League is not to have the big players that everyone probably will have. Alexis Sanchez, depending on where he goes, Eden Hazard, Harry Kane, lots of people are going to have them. When they score goals, everyone is getting the points. The way you do well in the Fantasy Premier League is having the players that are scoring points that people don't have and getting them early enough before everyone drafts them in. Joshua King would have been a prime example last season. The earlier you got him in, the more likely he was to get you up the rankings, and then eventually everyone had him near the end of the season, so his impact was lessened. Sigurdsson had a period very similar where if you had him when people didn't have him, that is when you got points that other people weren't getting and you raised up in the rankings. So you still need those big players, but a player like Davy Klaassen, who people don't know a lot about and who could come in and immediately do a great job in the Premier League, and it's, fingers crossed, potentially could do a great job immediately. These are the type of players that could propel you up the rankings, so definitely someone we need to watch and jump on if we see any signs of form. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning in today to this player analysis. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button. Also hit that notification button if you want to know straight away when I upload an FPL video. Also, if you want to support the channel, go check out my Patreon, and you can buy JNO merchandise in the link in the description down below if you want to. That store is going to close soon. Thank you Achilles for the order of the hoodie, much appreciated. But if you want to get anything JNO merchandise wise, go and have a look at that link, because the store will be shutting soon and I will be going over to Teespring and maybe releasing things periodically. So if you want something, go check it out now. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.